Ladies and gentlemen of Knucklehead Nation, I am here with one of the baddest dudes in Southern California and one of the hottest prospects, I think, in the MMA game, Blake, Bulletproof Troop. Blake, thank you so much for your time today, brother. How you doing, man? What are you up to right now?
I'm doing great. So I'm about 3 weeks out from my next fight in Legacy Fighting Alliance at LFA 54, and it's a Saturday, so it's an easier day for me. I'm doing a little recovery, active recovery stuff, but nothing too crazy. But like I said, about 3 weeks out from fighting, so training camp's been going very well, and I'm excited to showcase some new things, some new tricks and stuff from Bulletproof Troop.
Bulletproof. Now, where'd you get that nickname from, Blake?
It just went well with Troop, but then my first fight where I was using the nickname was against Moses, where me and Moses had a fucking war, and I took a lot of shots, and they're like, that's why they call him Bulletproof.
I see.
So, that came before that fight, but, I've definitely earned it with some of the way that I'll walk through punishment sometimes.
Yeah.
Which, I'm getting a lot better about.
Well, you told me, you're going to be fighting at 205. Speaking of walking through punishment, you're a big, solid dude. Even at 205, you're a big, solid dude.
Yeah.
Is this the weight you're going to stay at? What's going on with
Yeah, so I'm definitely staying at 205 pounds. I'd maybe consider fighting at 195. Maybe consider it if it opened up to a weight class, especially if I got to fight Edmund Shabazz, who I got a personal beef with, who signed a contract to fight me at 195. But other than that, until the UFC makes it a division, fighting at 195 won't do me any good. So 205 is where I'm at now and where I feel like I'm going to stay. I fought at as low as 170 pounds, and the majority of my fights at 185 pounds. And I feel like I've really taken the handcuffs off my ability to perform by not having to cut so much weight. I'm not concerned about cutting weight, what my caloric intake is, how many calories I am, how hungry I am, it's not concerns I have at this point where I'm able to just eat enough calories that I'm able to pretty much floor it through camp as hard as I need to train. And so I'm able to recover better, I'm getting better sleep, and I'm able to exert myself better in training. So moving up 205 pounds has been a game changer for me. And I highly recommend a lot of other fighters try it, Like I said, I fought at 170. I can make 185.
That's crazy.
It wasn't a beneficial cut. I thought that I like to be bigger and stronger than my opponents, big brother jiu-jitsu. So I didn't want to move up to a weight class where I thought that I'd have less advantageous in terms of size and strength. But it was totally worth it, because instead of being this good but performing it here, I'm this good and I'm performing it this good, despite it being against bigger opponents or whatever,
I love the term Big Brother Jiu-Jitsu. I love that you coined that term. You came up with that yourself?
Yeah, it's Bulletproof Troop original. And it's how my style of grappling is. Like, I do stuff that's very Big Brother-like, I say it's like a highly offensive and psychologically overwhelming style of grappling. And I do a lot of, I don't want to call it like cheat, but I'll rape choke you. I'll smash your face down into the ground. The other day I have videotaped some of my stuff when I'm training. I was doing wrestling rounds and we're fighting for crossface. And he keeps coming up and I just mash his face down. It wasn't pretty. I wasn't sitting here trying to do some nice pretty. It was Big Brother just.
Well, it's a fight, I guess. You got to do what you got to do, and you're a physical guy. I guess that's your style, and that's why.
It's a very catch wrestling-esque sort of style. I'm all no-gi, so I'm technically a purple belt in jiu-jitsu, 2-time world champion purple belt. I've won Naga a fuckload of times. I've won all kinds of, just about every tournament I've competed in. I've gotten gold medals in every division. But I'm a purple belt, but I'm all no-gi, so all my grappling for the last 15 years has all been no-gi style of grappling, So in the gi, I'm not as good as I am no-gi. And it's very, like I said, catch wrestling style, top, dominant pressure, grinding, and making people feel uncomfortable underneath me.
I love it. I love the Big Brother Jiu-Jitsu.
Like a Big Brother would do.
I love that shit. Do you have a shirt that says Big Brother Jiu-Jitsu? We need a Big Brother Jiu-Jitsu shirt.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
And it should be like those Big Brother, the little school program. Anyway, who are you going to be fighting next?
So I'm fighting a guy named Joe Henley, who is he's 10-4. He's been fighting on Access TV since longer than I've been fighting professionally. Joe's a tough guy. He's coming off 2 losses in the M1, which against tough opponents, I'm not counting him out anything coming off 2 losses. He's a tough vet who he's a black belt jiu-jitsu. I'm taking the fight very seriously. I've had people ask me when's the roasting gonna start? I don't have a problem with Joe, so I don't really need to talk shit to him. But I'm gonna be making some memes and stuff. And I'm cutting a few more promos, and I'll mention his name in the promos. But it's not like James Cannon, where me and James Cannon had a personal beef. I was trying to hurt his feelings.
Well, you sort of squashed that beef.
I squashed him. He was still talking shit though after the fight. Yeah, he got squashed. The beef, I'm not so sure about.
4 in a row.
Yeah, I haven't gotten hit in my last 4 fights either. I haven't gotten hit in 4 fights. 2 of those being on TV in the LFA. I haven't even gotten hit.
And all first round finishes.
Yeah, every one of my wins is a first round finish.
4 in a row. You win this one, it's 5 in a row in LFA. What happens after that? I don't want you to look past this next fight. What happens after this?
We'll see what kind of doors are opening up. I've had the WWE express interest in me. Access TV also has New Japan Pro Wrestling. There's all kinds of different avenues and doors that continue to open up. So it's really hard to say, but like you said, in 2 weeks, 3 weeks, I have the biggest fight of my life. That's what I'm concerned about right now. But I'm absolutely interested in looking around at other opportunities that Bulletproof Troop can be a part of, particularly professional wrestling. I've been doing some professional wrestling training actually with a guy named Brian Kendrick, who's a WWE, big name WWE, and so that's definitely a possibility that you could see me inside the wrestling ring sooner than later.
A lot of guys making that transition though.
Yeah, I'm big on showmanship. A lot of the stuff that I do is definitely geared towards early Attitude Era. Or not early, but Attitude Era, like professional wrestling. I grew up watching wrestling. And so, a lot of my promos, one of the promos I'm going to cut is going to be a Macho Man Randy Savage one.
Oh, man.
I'm the baddest man in the LFA light heavyweight division, yeah. And I got a full costume and shit.
Oh, my God. Well, the game needs that,
Yeah, it's entertainment, and that's what wrestling is, that's what fighting is, that's what fucking baseball, whatever, football. It's all entertainment, and it's a matter of how people utilize the platform they have to entertain. People want to hate on Conor McGregor because Conor McGregor was getting fights against Floyd Mayweather and this and that. He didn't get that fight because of his fighting skills. I'm not going to say he's not a great fighter. He's a great fighter. He's a champion. Yeah. But you're not going to take a guy who's 0-0 in boxing and beat the best ever. It's because the whole way they can go around the world doing press conferences and sell the fight. It's an entertainment thing. Yeah. So being able to pick up on that, it's an entertainment. That's why I cut the promos. It's to build my name, and I have fun, and it's being genuine to me, I'm a goofball.
I love him, man. I love him.
But adding the entertainment value to fighting, and not only that, but I'm a brand. There's a reason why I got my logos, and I got my little catchphrases and stuff. I'm gonna have fun with it too, but it definitely helps to sell the brand or product that I'm trying to. Because at the end of the day, too, you gotta figure out a way to make money doing this shit. Yeah. Otherwise, you're not going to be doing it for that long or that competitively. I don't know how the guys compete on a high level that have full-time jobs. It's crazy.
For sure. That's sort of my mission since I got into the whole promoting thing, is to try to find a way. It's still early, obviously, but try to find a way to get these guys out of this rut where they have to have a full-time or part-time job. I think it's disgraceful that athletes, the caliber of yours and whatnot, have to have a full-time job sometimes and do this at the same time.
And I'm not going to bash anything about our pay or any of that type of stuff. Yeah. But there are absolutely avenues that fighters could be doing outside the ring to benefit themselves as well. Which is a big thing. I try and push, and I try and you can sit here and tell people this and that. I try and go out there and show people all the different ways that I'm pushing my brand. I don't care if people want. If people hit me up and ask me, because I have people hit me up and ask me stuff, I try and help them, because that's just like you're trying to do. It's getting out and putting your name out there, and your brand, is essentially what your name is in this sport,
Now, Blake, these promos you cut and all this swag that exudes in the promos, it's a lot of confidence, and of course you have to have that as a fighter. Do you feel like actually expressing that and doing that builds your confidence even more, makes you a better fighter?
Yes and no. If I didn't already feel confident, then that would be one thing. If you're faking it, then I wouldn't think that it would help you. I believe everything that comes out of my mouth. I would say it's very similar to Conor. I think Conor believes everything that comes out of his mouth. And because of that, his belief in himself and all that, you're going to see a better performance later.
It's just he went out there against Floyd, like you said, 0-0, and put on a hell of a fight, and so much of that was confidence, in my opinion.
Yeah, I would say fighting, a huge aspect of it's mental. You get a badass motherfucker in a position where they're like, fuck, I don't want to be here anymore. Then like, you know, even if they're the more badass of the two or more experienced fighter, you know. But yeah, I think I would say that it helps. I mean, I'm big on positive self-talk and telling myself I'm the best and believing, you know, I think a ton of stuff starts mentally. If you have self-doubt, then I think that it's going to show through in your performances. You know, so I believe everything that comes out of my mouth, just like I think Connor believes everything that comes out of his. You know, so I do think it helps me with my confidence and stuff, you know, whether I know that for a fact or not, I don't know, you know, but I mean, it's what came first, the chicken or the egg, the confidence or the words?
I feel like it might like supplement a little bit too, you know, when you guys
I think so.
do that kind of
I for sure think it does, you know, because telling myself that I'm the best in the world and that I can beat anybody is absolutely going to make me believe that. And then when I'm training, when I'm putting in the work, you know, like that's, because when I'm training and putting in the work, I know motherfuckers aren't working as hard as I'm working, you know, and that's something that breeds the confidence, and that's, you know, because I'm putting in a lot of work, I'll talk shit. Like I say, I run my mouth a lot, but I put in even more work than I fucking talk, you know?
It kind of forces you to write the check or cast the check.
It does definitely keep you accountable. I would absolutely agree that it keeps you accountable, you know? And so the first fight I had where I kind of talked a little bit of shit before the fight was against Moses Morgan, and I lost the fight. We had a fucking war. Right. So it wasn't like, it was like, you know, like, but I think it definitely keeps you more accountable afterwards.
Yeah. So where are you training now?
I train at Black House. So I'm Black House headquarters in Gardena with my main gym.
Okay.
So Rage is my striking coach. I do my boxing over at The Rock in Carson.
He actually just messaged me on Facebook, which is pretty funny. But great guy.
And so Rage my striking, Kenny Johnson wrestling, and then I haven't really been doing a whole lot of jiu-jitsu in the last year, but like I'm winning world titles and like multiple Naga belts in a day and North American, like 4 gold medals. And it gets correct. So I've been competing a bunch, but not necessarily training a ton of jiu-jitsu. Mostly just, some, twice a week, none, but, and...
You're more focused on MMA right now.
Yeah, but I started training a lot more in all my different striking stuff, and I just kept competing in grappling and fucking doing very well in competitions of grappling, and my hands are getting fucking good.
Nice.
Yeah, my striking's coming along. I expect there to be I'd like to show it off a little bit this time.
Is Rage the striking coach out there?
Yeah. He's not the main Black House striking coach. He's one of the striking coaches at Black House, but he's my head coach.
I mean, you guys got some killers out there.
Yeah, it's fucking, especially on Fridays, man, it's a room full of killers. It's people that are coming there to competitively train and compete, you know, not people doing it for fun. Your average Joe's doing it for fun, which is nothing wrong with those people. But when you're a high-level pro, who's going to be competing against other high-level pros, you want to be training with high-level pros, or at least sparring with high-level pros, you know, like, yeah, it's a fucking, Friday can be give you a room full of
Who's someone you work with that, you know, you enjoy working with, maybe a couple
I would say one of my main training partners and biggest influences at Black House is Kevin Casey. You know, he really personifies Big Brother Jiu-Jitsu in terms of very top pressure dominant, always getting you in a worse and worse spot, you know. And that's where a lot of my jiu-jitsu is coming from, is from Kevin's technique. And I've been training with Kevin since Kevin's the person who brought me to Black House a couple years ago. And so I've been training with Kevin. It's been my main training partner now for a little bit over 2 years, I'd say.
Nice. And where were you before that?
I was down in San Diego at a gym called The Compound in Oceanside.
I see. I noticed a massive improvement, obviously, in the AMI circuit with Daniel Arpajon. I know he's working with you probably.
Like my little brother.
Yeah. Well, it's hard being your little brother, I'm sure. But I noticed, you know, he lost that first fight against Edgar Barbary. He came back and won the freaking state title, and I mean, it was a great performance.
Awesome fight.
Yeah, and what a fight. I mean, I can't wait to release that pretty soon here. Just watching that showed me, wow, this kid must be working with some great people out there.
Significant improvement.
Yeah.
Absolutely huge. Especially in that first Barbary fight where it was at in Long Beach, wherever the fuck that was.
I think it was. Yeah, I think it was at the Metro. Was that?
Yeah, Metroflex. Yeah, Danny's like my little brother. I train with Danny's now one of my main training partners pretty much since maybe 6 months before that last barbarian fight. Yeah. And now what I mean, he came out, we call him the Raging Bull. When he gets mad, he'll just keep coming at you. Yeah, so he's still a very aggressive fighter, but he's a lot smarter of a fighter now. And I love working with Danny, you know, watching his improvements. He does huge strides in improvement. Especially in his hands, right? His hands have been getting significantly better, and all the way around, you know. And he's a tough kid. You can teach people how to wrestle, grapple, strike, this and that. You can't teach heart, desire to win, and willingness to pull through a shitty situation. A lot of people you hit, and they don't want to be hit again. You can hit Danny fucking square in the nose, and that motherfucker's gonna keep coming at you.
Damn, dude.
You know.
And I'm assuming you're kind of the same way.
Yeah, yeah.
Blake, really appreciate your time, man. You're such an interesting character. You got so much charisma. I love the way you take marketing seriously. I hope these young kids that I'm trying to help in the AME circuit, you know, kind of model their game after that. You don't have to talk too much if you can't do it, but do something to market
something
yourself.
Something genuine
you know?
to yourself. Don't be fake.
Yeah.
I'm a loudmouth kind of shit talker, goofball. This is like who I am. So it's not like I'm putting out a fake thing. So whatever it is, just be genuine to yourselves when you market yourself. That would be my advice about marketing yourself. It doesn't have to be bashing other people. You can be talking about yourself. You know, get a logo. Start with that. Start with getting a logo. You know, start building a brand. You know, and trying to push stuff out. Like I got merch. I got my merch all on. You know, it's all stuff that's going to help you build your brand and help you become bigger in what you're doing.
I love it, Blake. Anything you want to say before we let you go back into the gym here?
I appreciate you, brother, and stay tuned. You know, Friday, November 16th, the banger at the hangar. You know, expect fireworks.
Hell yeah.
Expect fireworks.
Hell yeah. And where can we find you on social media?
At Bulletproof Troop on Instagram. My Twitter's at BigTroop22. Facebook.com/BigTroop22. BlakeTroop.com if you want to pick up some merch. Yeah, that's it, baby.
Thank you, man. Appreciate it, bro.
Absolutely.
Be sure to smash that like button. And don't forget to smash that subscribe button to continue to support FightersRep. Thank you very much.